All right, guys, I feel like I need to cover an update to the EB situation and address this question that I've seen in a lot of comments about Eric Bieniemy, and also because it's a question that I asked myself in a video about EB, and I've since learned a bit more and gotten more context. So let's talk about it. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole, and if you love the Kansas City Chiefs, make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on because I'm doing daily news about our favorite team. Okay, so I've covered a series of stories and videos a while back that has sort of blown up on my channel. Overall, it's the video on the Eric Bieniemy article and situation and all that. And one of the videos is where I talk about Broncos insider Benjamin Albright confirming that around 70% of that EB article lines up with what he's heard, and he could verify another 25% of it. So basically 95% of it is pretty much true. Well, in that video, we talk about Ryan Poles getting hired with the Bears as their new GM, and it was a sketchy look on Bieniemy that Ryan Poles didn't even offer him an interview. So this is a very respected African-American man who had been with the Chiefs in some capacity since 2009. He takes over as the Bears GM, and he didn't even offer EB an interview. Well, a little while ago, I got some more context as to why that happened. When Poles was interviewed as the GM, then brought in for a second interview, he had some conditions in place. Poles demanded control in the interviewing process for a new head coach, and he did get that request granted, but the Bears already had their new head coach hire narrowed down to 3 finalists: Cowboys DC Dan Quinn, Colts DC Matt Eberflus, and former Lions Colts head coach Jim Caldwell. So basically, Ryan Poles got hired as the GM, was given reins in the hiring process, and went with one of the 3 already selected finalists that were to be brought back for second interviews. So from what I can find, Poles was hired on the 25th, interviewed all 3 of those candidates, then they made their hire on the 27th and chose Matt Eberflus. And I did look for several articles to see, like, hey, did Ryan Poles bring in any additional coaches to interview? And I cannot find that he did. So even though he was running the show at that point, he could have brought in other candidates, but I think he wanted to show that he trusted the Bears search committee, and I'll leave a link in the description down below on who the Bears search committee was, because the head coach, which was Nagy, and their GM both got fired at the same time. So they made a search committee, and it was a bunch of guys on the Bears staff that were doing all these searches for a head coach and had it narrowed down to the final 3. I do think it would have came off as a bit disrespectful. There would kind of be bad vibes from the jump if Ryan Poles was like, nah, I don't like the 3 that you guys have it narrowed down to. I'm going to do my own outside interviews. Now, he could have interviewed a couple people from the outside, probably would have been fine, but I think he wanted to show that he did trust in their decision-making process, at least thus far. So he ran with the 3 that were already selected, basically. And to sort of double up on that theory, I found an article a bit later from Sports Illustrated that says this: Poles didn't make these 3 his finalists. There is much speculation he could widen the search. This would take some real guts, though, because he'd more or less be spitting on what the committee assembled for him to consider. So that's why Eric Bieniemy did not get an interview there. Again, from what I can find in my research, he didn't interview anybody outside of these 3 finalists, and I found this video necessary to make because there have been a lot of comments going around about this, and I wanted to provide an update and provide some clarity, at least a little bit on my end with this situation. So with all that being said, what are your thoughts on this? Does it give any relief, at least in that part of the EB and Ryan Poles portion of the video I did? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. It does bring helpful clarity to me, at least, because the Ryan Poles situation and him not giving EB an interview at all really did not sit well with me, at least for EB's sake and his reputation as a potential future head coach. But I got some comments on that video that said, no, Ryan Poles basically had his choice between 3 finalists by the time he got there. So I did some more digging and found that was indeed to be true. So it was helpful to me at least hopefully it was for you as well. Make sure you like and sub for more daily news about the Chiefs. And also, check out this video here. It's a playlist of the Eric Bieniemy situation, all the videos that I have done if you want some more clarity as to what the heck I'm even talking about. So hey, until next time, let's go. How about those